friend of mine. This is Mr. Ben Kinlaw. He drove an hour and a half to see us today, all the way from Barnwell. You've got quite an impressive resume. Mr. Kinlaw is a retired senior manager at Mohawk Flooring, which is the largest flooring company in the entire world. So he's got a lot of experience in executive management. He's going to talk a little bit about what brought him into that business and his success story. He's also very involved in the state geopolitical party politics. He's currently the chair of Barnwell County. He's been involved in presidential elections as he was the 2008 presidential electoral 2nd Congressional District representative and also the chairman of the state's roundtable. Welcome to our class.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate in that. I do appreciate the opportunity to come by and speak this morning. And I pursued a career in textiles, and I'm going to kind of chat about that, what led up to that. In that I am a 4th generation. My maternal great-grandfather was started to work in a mill in 1912, the year that it was constructed. He was, as most was in the area, the grades and grade, and he was a farmer, or a tenant farmer, I should say, in that. But I want you to, if you leave here today, I want you to leave with, and my objective is this, is that you can achieve anything that you want to achieve if you apply yourself. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of my personal story. And if I hesitate at times, it may be because of I hit some emotional buttons, okay, in that. So seeing as I get older, you think back on your childhood and you see that. I was raised by a single mom. I was telling Kelly, my mom had 4 boys. Only 2 of us made it out alive. My mom remarried later on in life, and in her 40s she had a little girl. My father was had less than a 3rd grade education. My mom had an 8th grade education, but she had a lot of common sense. And I remember when I was taking algebra and I said, "Mother, can you help me? I don't understand this." She would work it out in her way, and then I would go through and, of course, apply the equation in that. But I was sharing with Kelly early on, I was born with a speech impediment when I was younger. When I was born, and in class, I didn't want to raise my hand and ask any questions. The reason for that is because they couldn't understand me. So I was kind of behind in that regard. But I know what it is to go and see your father in prison. My father was in prison. And I know the struggles and the challenges of not having anything to eat. I know the challenges of my mom was just too proud to ask for any government assistance. Through the grace of God and through my maternal family, we lived with my maternal grandparents on 2 different occasions. We lived with aunts and uncles on other occasions in that, and I lived once with my paternal grandmother. Today, they would call you homeless. But it was our family taking care of my mother, my brother, and myself. My brother was 4 years older than myself. But my mom raised my brother and myself with 4 basic tenets. Obey the laws of God and man. Develop a good work ethic. Get a good education. And treat others like you'd like to be treated. And we did that as we was growing up in that. I brought a couple of touchstones today. I'm going to show them to you. I'm not going to pass it around because some of it is very, very fragile in that. I want you to understand the challenges I had in life in that. When I was 12 years old, my brother was 16, I was 12. We received 2 Christmas gifts that year. And I still have half of my Christmas gifts. One was a bag of fruit, and the other one was a Bible like this. You can see that it's tattered, and I have not chosen to have it rebound. Okay? And it means a lot to me in that. My brother joined the Air Force in 1962 out of high school and served for 4 years came home in '66. He saw what was going on in Southeast Asia and decided to re-enlist. When I graduated from high school in 1967, and in 1968, in January, it was the Tet Offensive, and I joined the Air Force as well. And I was sharing with Kelly earlier, my mom, when I told her I was going to join the military, 75% of my family served in the military. I come from a family that it was part of your rites of passage to join the military and serve your country. And in my brother's case, in my case, it was fortunate because we were discharged, we used the GI Bill, went on to college, and then achieved the various goals we had in life. Now, growing up, we didn't have a TV. My brother and I shared the same bed. And we would come up with games, and we read a lot, okay, because we didn't have a TV. We would go and check out books for the weekend, we'd read. But my brother and I came up with games, and some of the games we came up with was we would name the various baseball teams in the National League and the American League, and the various positions that they played. Well, he was 4 years older than me, so he always won. We'd name it back and forth, back and forth. Then we would talk about the battles of the Revolutionary War. Then we'd talk about the battles of the Civil War. We would name who was commanders of that, and even the horses that they rode, the names of those horses. Little did I know at that time that that was helping me in there. So I'm very appreciative of those times in there. My mother would tell us that there's no one any better than you. You've had just a few more challenges than some of your friends and other people. When I graduated from high school in 1967, we lived in a 3-room house, and all we had was electric lights. No running water, no bathroom, and no vehicle. And I also was sharing with Kelly earlier, I married my high school sweetheart. She would come pick me up, take her dad's car, and would come pick me up as we dated. But I kept being supported by my mom saying, you can do anything you want to do if you just apply yourself, whatever challenge. So I had that reinforcement. Now, my mom was a disciplinarian. You bring your report card home, you had all A's and 1B, guess what you focused on? That 1B. If you can do it in all the other subjects, why can't you do it in that subject? She didn't want to hear any excuses. And I remember bringing a report card home one day, and I had, and we was graded on citizenship. Citizenship was how you conducted your behavior. And I got a U. And that was the last time that I ever received a U. Because she was a disciplinarian. She was a disciplinarian. And when I joined the Air Force, and if I go back and forth, please just understand, but when I was in this Chatham young man I see was in the Air Force, and I was commending because that's when I served them. And I obviously feel like it's the best branch of service. But, and of course, in the military, they refer to you by your last name. Say, Kinlaw, why is it that all of this extra discipline don't bother you? I said, sir, I was raised by a first sergeant. But when I lived with my maternal grandparents, this is what they told us. You live under my roof, you eat food from my table, then we have a certain level of expectations. So it was yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, and no sir. My grandfather worked in the mill as well. He started working in the mill when he was 11 years old. And he probably had a second-grade education, and that was it. Again, had a lot of good common sense. No automobile. And we walked to church. Back and forth.